Moonless midnight on Blackridge Highway. A lone Harley's headlight slices fog. A child's cry echoes from a crumpled sedan. Leather-clad giants roar in, engines snarling like guardians. Assumptions shatter. Before we start this story, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? We love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you enjoy our stories, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to hit the hype button. The fog clung to Blackridge Highway like a shroud, thick enough to swallow sound. Elias Thornwood, 42, single dad and night shift mechanic, gripped his steering wheel white-knuckled. His 98 sedan coughed, then died. His 8-year-old daughter Nora whimpered in the back, clutching her teddy with one hand, inhaler with the other. Asthma attack brewing, no cell signal, headlights off, battery dead. The silence pressed in. Then thunder, not weather, engines. 5 Harleys crested the hill, chrome glinting under sodium lamps. Black vests, skull patches, beards like storm clouds. Elias's heart sank. Hellsangels. He shielded Nora instinctively. The lead rider, Knox rider, killed his engine. Boots hit asphalt. "Kid's turning blue," he barked, voice gravel over honey. Another biker, Diesel, yanked a med kit from his saddlebag. No hesitation. Knox knelt, eyes soft beneath the menace. "Breathe for me, little one." Nora's terrified gaze met his. Silence stretched. Then she nodded, trusting. The fog parted like it knew mercy was coming. Knox cradled Nora against his cut, the skull patch stark against her pink pajamas. Diesel prepped the nebulizer, portable military grade, no questions why. The other 3 bikers formed a wall, flashlights cutting the dark, engines idling low like guard dogs. Elias stood frozen, rain mixing with tears. "She needs a hospital," he stammered. "Nearest is 30 miles. Knox didn't flinch. "We ride." He lifted Nora like she weighed nothing, settling her in front of him on the Harley. Diesel tossed Elias a helmet. "You ride, bitch, with me." The convoy roared to life. Headlights carved tunnels through fog. Elias clung to Diesel's waist, wind whipping his face raw. Every mile, Nora's breathing steadied. Knox's gloved hand steady on her chest, counting breaths like a metronome. At a red light, a cop cruiser pulled alongside. The officer's eyes narrowed at the patches. Knox met his stare, unblinking. The light turned green. The cop let them pass. Something unspoken, respect, maybe fear, hung in the air. They hit St. Alda's Medical Center at 110 Mupau. ER doors flew open. Nurses swarmed. Knox carried Nora inside, boots echoing on linoleum. Doctors took over. Elias stumbled after, legs jelly. In the waiting room, the bikers filled the space. Leather, chains, ink. A security guard approached, hand on taser. Knox raised a palm. "We're with the kid." The guard backed off. Hours bled. Coffee went cold. Finally, a doctor emerged. "She'll be fine. You got her here just in time." Elias collapsed into a plastic chair, sobbing. Knox crouched beside him. "She's a fighter." Elias looked up, saw the man's eyes, storm gray but warm. "Why help us?" Knox shrugged. "Seen too many kids lose." He pulled a worn photo from his wallet. A boy, maybe 10, smiling, gap-toothed. "My nephew didn't make it." Silence. Diesel clapped Elias's shoulder. "Road's cruel. We soften it where we can." Outside, dawn bled pink over the parking lot. The Harleys waited, patient beasts. Nora slept inside, Teddy tucked under her chin. Nora woke to sunlight and Knox's silhouette in the doorway, holding a stuffed eagle wearing a tiny leather vest. "Thought your bear needed a friend." Nora giggled, weak but real. Elias entered, eyes red. "You stayed all night?" Knox nodded. "Promised her I'd be here when she woke." The bikers had rotated shifts, never leaving. A nurse whispered to Elias, "They scared off a dealer in the lobby." Quietly. Elias found them in the cafeteria, sharing pancakes with Nora via video call from her room. Diesel was teaching her to flip a coin across her knuckles. Knox caught Elias staring. "She's got your eyes. Stubborn." Elias laughed, broken sound. "You hungry?" Knox shook his head. "We eat on the road." But he accepted coffee. Black, no sugar, steam curled between them. "You ride?" Knox asked. "Used to. Before her mom." He trailed off. Knox understood. Outside, a news van pulled up. Someone tipped them off. "Biker gang saves child." Knox's jaw tightened. "We're ghosts in 10. He stood. Nora's voice crackled over the intercom. "Mr. Knox." Knox returned to Nora's room. She held out a crayon drawing. 5 Harleys, a sedan, a stick figure girl waving. "For you." Knox took it like it was gold. "Gonna frame this at the clubhouse." Elias watched, throat thick. "You don't have to leave." Knox's smile was sad. "World's got ideas about us. Better this way." Diesel revved outside, signal to roll. Hugs were awkward, leather against hospital gown. Nora whispered, "Will you visit?" Knox tapped her nose. "Count on it, Captain." In the parking lot, Elias offered his hand. Knox clasped it, firm. "Anything, ever, you call." He scribbled a number on a napkin. The bikers mounted up. Engines growled farewell. As they vanished into the sunrise, Nora pressed her palm to the window. The eagle sat on her bed, vest stitched with tiny wings. Elias pocketed the napkin. The news van filmed the empty lot, story already twisting. But inside room 212, a little girl breathed easy, and a father learned monsters sometimes wear halos. The Harley's roar faded, but the echo stayed, proof that thunder can carry mercy. 3 weeks later, dusk painted Willowmere's only diner in bruised orange. Elias pushed open the glass door, Nora skipping ahead. The place smelled of burnt coffee and bacon grease. At the counter sat Knox, alone, nursing a mug. No colors, no bike outside, just flannel and tired eyes. Nora squealed, "Mr. Knox!" and bolted. He caught her mid-leap, spinning once before setting her down. "Captain reporting for duty." Elias slid into the booth opposite. "Thought you were ghosts." Knox's grin was crooked. "Ghosts get hungry." Nora climbed onto the vinyl seat, eagle plush in hand. The waitress, Marla, eyed Knox warily until Nora ordered chocolate chip pancakes for my hero. Marla softened. Outside, a pickup full of locals slowed, staring. Knox ignored them. He slid a small box across the table. Inside, a silver pendant, shaped like a tiny Harley. "For when you're big enough to ride." Nora's eyes went saucer-wide. Elias mouthed, "Thank you." Knox shrugged. "Road's long. Need something to hold on to." Silence settled, warm like the diner lights. Knox paid the bill before Elias could protest. Nora hugged his leg so hard her eagle lost a wing stitch. Outside, the sky bled violet. Knox walked them to the sedan. "Heard your shop's short a mechanic." Elias blinked. "How?" "Small town." Knox kicked gravel. "I wrench. Clean record, mostly." He flashed a half-smile. Elias hesitated. The townsfolk still whispered, "Those bikers that night, drugs maybe." but Nora tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, please?" Knox's gaze dropped. "No pressure, just hate loose ends." Elias exhaled. "Trial shift tomorrow, 7 a.m. Knox's nod was solemn. He crouched to Nora. "See you at sunrise, Captain." She saluted. As they drove off, Knox stood under the buzzing neon sign, a lone figure shrinking in the rear view. Elias glanced at the pendant in Nora's fist. It caught the streetlight like a promise. Back at the diner, Marla wiped the counter, muttering, "Never thought I'd serve an angel in leather." The coffee pot hissed agreement. Dawn at Thornwood Auto, grease and oil hung thick. Knox arrived on foot, duffel slung over shoulder, no bike. Elias handed him a wrench. "Bay 2. 76 Chevy needs a heart." Knox rolled up sleeves, ink rippling, a faded angel wing over scarred knuckles. Customers trickled in. Old man Jenkins froze mid-sentence. Elias cut him off. "Best damn mechanic this side of the river." Knox worked silent, efficient. By noon the Chevy purred. Jenkins paid double gruff apology in his eyes. Word spread. Afternoon brought a widow, Mrs. Hale, minivan, smoking. Knox diagnosed a cracked radiator in minutes. Refused payment. "Pay it forward." She left teary, pressing cookies into his hands. Nora watched from the office, coloring Harleys on invoice paper. At closing, Knox wiped his hands. "Not charity, just balance." Elias locked up. "You staying?" Knox glanced at the horizon. "For now." A single headlight flickered far down the road. Diesel, idling. Knox raised a hand. Diesel nodded, killed the engine, vanished. Message clear: "We're watching, but you're good." The sun dipped, painting the garage gold. Friday night, Willowmere's Veterans Hall glowed with string lights. Charity auction for the animal shelter. Elias dragged Knox along for moral support. Inside, folding chairs, checkered tablecloths, suspicious glances. Nora wore the pendant proud. Knox bid on a quilt, won with a quiet $200. The crowd murmured. Then the power cut. Generator failed. Darkness swallowed laughter. Panic flickered. Knox moved like he'd planned it. Flashlight from his pocket, calm voice. "Everyone stay put." He found the breaker box, rewired in minutes. Lights hummed back. Applause erupted. An elderly vet, Hank, gripped Knox's shoulder. "You Army?" Knox's eyes shadowed. "Once. Lost my squad outside Fallujah." Hank saluted. The room shifted. Strangers became neighbors. Nora tugged Knox to the dessert table, offered him a brownie shaped like a paw. He ate it in one bite, chocolate on his beard. She giggled. Outside, Diesel waited again, this time with a cooler of sodas for the kids. No patches, just Brotherhood in the shadows. The quilt hung on the wall, a patchwork of second chances. Midnight, Blackridge Highway again. Knox rode alone, wind slicing clean. He pulled over where the sedan had died weeks ago. Fog thinner now, stars sharp. He lit a cigarette, ember glowing like memory. Headlights approached slow. Elias's sedan. Nora asleep in back. Elias stepped out. Couldn't sleep, Knox offered the smoke. Elias took it, coughed. "Town's changing. Because of you." Knox stared at the ditch where Nora had turned blue. "Change ain't me. It's her." He nodded toward the car. Elias followed his gaze. "She asked if angels ride Harleys." Knox laughed low. "Tell her some do." Silence stretched, comfortable. Then Knox reached into his cut, pulled out the crayon drawing from the hospital, edges worn soft. "Kept it on my dash." Elias smiled. "Frame it yet?" "Working on it." Far off, a coyote howled. Knox crushed the cigarette. "Got a roll before sunrise." Elias offered his hand. Knox pulled him into a backslap hug, leather against flannel. "See you Monday, boss." The Harley growled alive, taillight shrinking to a red pinprick. Elias stood long after, pendant warm in his pocket. Late October, Willowmere's harvest fair. Cornstalks lined Main Street, jack-o'-lanterns grinning orange. Knox manned a dunk tank in a borrowed flannel, sleeves rolled high. Kids lined up with softballs. Nora perched on the fence, eagle plush tucked under arm. First throw, splash. Knox surfaced laughing, water streaming from beard. Crowd cheered. A teen in a Letterman jacket sneered, "Bikers don't belong here." Knox climbed out, dripping. "Belong where I'm needed." He handed the teen a towel. Boy took it, mumbling. By dusk, the tank raised $800 for the library. Elias grilled burgers at the auto shop booth. Diesel showed up incognito, ball cap low, flipping patties like a pro. No one recognized him without the cut. Nora darted between legs, collecting raffle tickets. Knox bought 50, stuffed them in a jar labeled New Playground. Night fell. Fireworks cracked overhead. Knox lifted Nora to his shoulders. Colors exploded across her face, wonder pure. Elias snapped a photo, leather, flannel, and a child's silhouette against the sky. The image would hang above the garage register for years. November rain hammered Willowmere. Elias's shop flooded, sewer backup. Water rose ankle deep. Knox arrived at dawn, boots splashing. Grab pumps. They worked side by side, bailing murky sludge. Diesel rolled in with a flatbed of sandbags. 3 more bikers followed, silent, efficient. Townsfolk watched from doorways, umbrellas forgotten. By noon, the garage stood dry. Mrs. Hale brought chili in thermoses. Old man Jenkins hauled folding chairs. The shop became a warming station. Knox ladled soup, steam fogging his glasses. Nora passed out cookies shaped like wrenches. A reporter from the county paper snapped photos. Headline next day, "Outlaws Save Main Street." Knox read it at the diner, snorted. "Outlaws don't mop floors." Marla refilled his coffee free. Outside, the rain eased. Diesel leaned against his bike, lighting a smoke. "Club's voting tonight." "Patch you in permanent." Knox stared at the wet street. "Willowmere's my road now." Diesel nodded, crushed the cigarette. "Understood." He rode off, taillight blinking goodbye through puddles. December Eve, St. Alder's Orphanage. Snow dusted the cracked basketball court. Knox organized a toy run. 20 Harleys, no colors, saddlebags stuffed with gifts. Nora rode in a sidecar wrapped in blankets, cheeks rosy. Elias followed in the sedan, trunk rattling with donated coats. Kids poured out, eyes huge. Santa was late. Knox filled in, beard white with fake snow. Diesel handed out helmets painted like reindeer. When boy Jamal, 8, clutched a worn photo of his dad in uniform. Knox knelt. "He ride?" Jamal nodded. Knox pulled a miniature Harley from his pocket, placed it in the boy's hand. "Your dad's watching. Keep the wheels turning." Jamal hugged him fierce. Inside, the common room glowed with second-hand lights. Bikers sat cross-legged, reading stories in gravel voices. A social worker whispered to Elias, "We've never had this many smiles." Midnight, the convoy rolled out quiet. Snow muffled engines. Nora asleep against Knox's chest. Back in Willowmere, the town Christmas tree flickered on. Knox had rewired it himself. Stars above, exhaust below, and a town that finally saw the men beneath the myth. Christmas morning, Thornwood Auto closed. Knox's trailer, parked behind the shop, smelled of pine and bacon. Nora burst in at 6 a.m., eagle plush, wearing a tiny Santa hat. Under a scraggly tree, a child-sized leather jacket, patches reading "Captain." Elias filmed her squeal. Diesel arrived with a toolbox wrapped in newspaper. For the boss. Inside, a custom ratchet set engraved E. Thornwood. Knox hung stockings on the garage door, grease-stained but festive. Marla dropped off pies. Jenkins brought eggnog. The radio played low. Nora tugged Knox to the lot. Snow blanketed wrecked cars like forgiveness. She pointed to a rusted '72 Mustang. "Fix it for spring." Knox grinned. "Deal." They built a snowman with a wrench for a nose. Diesel added a beard of pine needles. Photos again. Family now, chosen. Afternoon, Knox stepped outside alone. Phone buzzed. Club president. "You coming home?" Knox watched Nora wave from the window. "Already am." He hung up. The snow kept falling, soft as absolution. New Year's Eve, Blackridge Lookout. Town gathered for fireworks. Knox parked the Harley atop the cliff, Nora on the tank, Elias beside. Below, Willowmere twinkled like a promise kept. Diesel and 3 others joined, engines off, helmets under arms. No patches tonight, just men. Countdown began. 10, 9. Nora clutched the pendant. 8, 7. Knox's hand found Elias's shoulder. 6, 5. Memories flashed. Fog, blue lips, crayon drawings, snowmen. 4, 3. The past year, a lifetime. 2, 1. Fireworks erupted, gold and crimson over the valley. Nora whooped. Knox's eyes glistened. Wind, he'd claim. Diesel lit a sparkler, handed it to Jamal, who'd been fostered locally. The boy wrote his name in light. Cheers rose. Knox pulled a small box from his cut. Inside, keys. "Shop's half yours, partner." Elias stared. "You sure?" Knox nodded toward Nora. "She needs roots." Midnight kissed the sky. Engines revved in celebration, not threat. The bikers formed a circle, arms linked. Strangers once, brothers now. Fireworks faded, but the glow lingered in their eyes. Proof that thunder can heal, and roads, when shared, lead home. January thaw turned Willowmere's streets to slush. Knox and Elias rebuilt the 72 Mustang in the garage, radio humming old rock. Nora supervised from a milk crate, handing tools with greasy fingers. Diesel dropped by, with parts scavenged from 3 counties. The car's frame was solid, but the heart, engine block cracked. Knox worked nights under a single bulb, welding scars like memories. One evening, a stranger rolled in. Leather cut, different chapter, eyes cold. "Heard you went soft." Knox didn't look up. "Heard wrong." The man left a warning carved into a workbench. "Traitors ride alone." Nora saw it, frowned. "Bad man?" Knox covered it with a sticker of her eagle. "Just noise." That night he stood guard outside the trailer, shotgun across his lap. Dawn came quiet. The Mustang coughed, then roared alive. Elias whooped. Nora danced in exhaust clouds. Knox smiled, but his eyes scanned the tree line. Brotherhood had prices. He'd pay them to keep this peace. February brought ice storms. Power lines snapped. Willowmere went dark. Knox's trailer became command central, generator humming, coffee brewing. Neighbors trickled in, Jenkins with lanterns, Marla with blankets. Diesel arrived with chainsaws. They cleared fallen trees from driveways, no charge. Nora organized kids into a cocoa assembly line. A single mom, Carla, arrived shivering, toddler on hip. Her heat was out. Knox gave up his bed. He slept on the garage couch, wrench in hand. Midnight, headlights swept the lot. Same stranger from before, idling. Knox stepped out, breath fogging. "Leave." The man revved, then spun away. Morning, the town awoke to cleared roads. Carla pressed a handmade scarf into Knox's hands. Navy, soft. For the Guardian. He wore it daily. At the diner, talk shifted. "Those bikers ain't so bad." Nora added a new drawing to the fridge. Knox with angel wings made of wrenches. The ice melted, but the warmth stayed. March winds rattled the garage doors. The Mustang gleamed cherry red, ready for Nora's first ride. A slow lap around the lot. Townsfolk gathered, phones out. Elias strapped her in, helmet comically large. Knox pushed the gas. The engine purred like a contented beast. Nora's laughter echoed off metal walls. Diesel filmed, grinning. Then brakes squealed. A pickup fishtailed in, same stranger leaping out, face twisted. "You think you're one of them?" He swung a chain. Knox stepped between, took the hit across the shoulder. Blood bloomed. Diesel tackled the man. Elias shielded Nora. Sirens wailed. Someone called it in. Cuffs clicked. The stranger spat. "Club'll burn you!" Knox, pressing the scarf to his wound, met his eyes. Already did. Chose better. At the hospital, stitches and silence. Nora refused to leave his side, eagle plush clutched tight. Doctor said, "You're lucky." Knox looked at Nora. "I know." Outside, the town waited with casseroles. The Mustang sat under a tarp, patient. Spring was coming. April sun dried the bloodstains. The club sent an envoy. President himself, grey beard, calm voice, sat with Knox on the garage steps. "You walked away. Respect." He slid an envelope across. Club dues returned, plus a patch. Honorary, no obligations. For the kid. Nora peeked from the office, curious. The president knelt. "You ride with angels, little captain." She offered him a cookie. He ate it solemnly. Diesel stood watch, arms crossed. No threats, just closure. The Mustang rolled out for its maiden voyage. Knox driving, Nora shotgun, Elias and Diesel tailing in the sedan. They cruised Blackridge Highway, windows down, radio loud. At the crash site from months ago, Knox pulled over, planted a small cross wrapped in the bloodied scarf. For second chances, Nora added a flower. The wind carried petals like blessings. Back in town, the garage sign now read, "Thornwood and Ryder Auto, we fix more than cars." The phone rang non-stop. May's Dawn painted Willowmere gold. The garage hosted its first open house. Free oil changes, bike safety checks. Harleys lined the lot, gleaming. Diesel brought the whole chapter, colors proud but peaceful. Kids climbed on bikes for photos. Nora, in her tiny jacket, gave tours. Knox stood on a crate, voice carrying, "Road took everything once, gave it back better." Cheers rose. A ribbon cutting for the new playground, funded by that auction quilt now framed in the office. Nora cut the tape with oversized scissors. Jamal pushed the first swing. Fire trucks blared horns in salute. Evening brought a barbecue. Tables groaned under potluck. Knox carved the pig, apron over leather. Elias toasted with root beer. To family, blood and chrome. Diesel clinked bottles. Fireflies blinked like low headlights. Nora fell asleep on Knox's lap, pendant glinting. The stranger never returned. Word was he'd transferred chapters, lesson learned. Midnight, the bikers rode out single file, engines and a lullaby. Knox carried Nora home. The Mustang slept under stars. Willowmere breathed easy, knowing its guardians wore skulls but carried hearts. On Blackridge Highway, thunder softens into a heartbeat. Tough exteriors crack open for kindness. This is the biker's truth, loyalty louder than engines. If this moved you, subscribe, tap the bell and share your own road story. We rode together.